Welcome back to day 4 of this European Championship Group B in Montesinos, Portugal. I am Amanda Dennis and I will be your host and commentator for this game. This game will be between host country Portugal and the last winners of the European B Championships, Finland. Let's go over the rosters for each of these teams before the game starts. Let's start with Finland. From Finland, number 7, Minna Grönroos. Number 5, Lida Kapula. Number 1, Mila Lepalainen. Number 2, Krista Lepinen. Number 6, Jasmine Mikola. And number 4, Azra Taebi. For Portugal, we have number 1, Eduarda Azevedo. Number 8, Jessica Castro. Number 7, Leticia Gomez. Number 5, Leonor Silva. And number 2, Maria Silva. Portugal looks like they'll be starting the ball this half, wearing their red jerseys on table left of this court. Finland with their white jerseys. Looks like we're starting with Eduarda Azevedo, Jessica Castro, and Maria Silva this game. Leonor Silva taking a seat on the bench. And Finland will be starting with Jasmine Mikola in center, Krista Lepinen, who's taking this first throw for them on that left wing, and Lida Kapula on that right wing. Ball will drop in on the left side of Portugal with Maria Silva, the left-handed player, who's just going to shoot the ball quickly to not concede a 10-second penalty. So the ball will be dropped back in for Finland. Number 2, Kapula, right now shooting the ball down past Castro in center. Is that Castro in center? It is past number 8, Castro in center, who just doesn't dive far enough, and Maria Silva not behind her to make that block as it was so far in. The ball is down with Lepinen on the left side for Finland. She'll be throwing directly at Eduarda Azevedo, who's going to collect the ball after a chase, go directly back to that right side of the court and throw the ball to the center at Mikola, deflected off into Kapula on the right side of Finland. She's going to spin around and throw a skipping ball into the center at Castro, but blocked safely and passed off to the left wing, Silva. Silva, left-handed, brings the ball across the face of Mikola, blocked by the feet, just blocked out. The ball will be dropped in on the left side for Finland with Lepinen, who's going to back up to that left post. She's going to set up a smooth ball going down the line just through the hands of Eduarda Azevedo, but deflected out. Maria Silva over on that right wing for Portugal, going to take that throw from the right side. A dummy by Azevedo, very sneaky, but blocked by Lepinen on that left side for Finland. She's sending a smooth ball, but on that right gap between Azevedo and Castro, blocked by Azevedo, and she's going to send that ball down into the gap between Mikola and Lepinen. Mikola out of the center, spins around, hits the center. Castro, Silva and Castro making that save together across the court, and they'll just throw a slow ball down the court, blocked by Kapula. She's going to spin the ball all the way across court, but her angle's not right, so it will just fade out at the last minute. Azevedo will receive the ball again on the right side, setting up at the post, throwing a ball into the center at Mikola, blocked safely and passed off to Lepinen on the left. Lepinen spinning around left-handed, bouncing the ball, dies a bit, but still deflected off of the hands of Castro forward, and then given to Maria Silva on the left, who's going to throw a smooth ball down the line at Kapula, who's going to back up to that right post, moving into that gap now and spinning around, trying to hit down the line, but just out on that left side. So Silva will receive the ball again on that left wing. Silva, left-handed, bounces the ball a bit towards center. Mikola taking that ball, backing up with it, so she'll take it herself. Throwing a smooth ball in between Castro and Estevida on Portugal's right-hand side of the court. It was blocked forward and to the neutral zone and went out, so that is a turnover. Finland will receive the ball again with Lepinen on the left side. Lepinen at that left-hand post, throwing right-handed smooth ball into the midst of the wing line at Estevida, who quick shots but just is inaccurate. The ball's out and will be placed back in with Lepinen. Lepinen on that left-hand side of the court, right-handed, right down the line, hits the post of Estevito, but it bounces back into play. She's able to collect and throw a ball into the center at Mikola, passed off to Kaupila, and Kaupila spins around, throwing a bouncing ball into that left wing, Maria Silva, for Portugal. She'll be throwing left-handed into the gap between Mikola and Kaupila on that right side for Finland. Deflected a little bit, but then passed off to Kaupila. Throwing a full cross off of a spin, but the angle's just not there. Just goes out and will be placed back into play with Estevida on Portugal's right side. Estevida throwing across court off of the feet of Kaupila, but just deflected sideways out. Kaupila heading to the middle court to hand the ball off in back center with Lepinen, who's going to head back to her left wing spot, throwing a smooth ball into the center at Castro, who just blocks that ball with her hands and gives the ball to the goal scorer of the previous games, Estevito off to Mikola in the center, who passes off to Lepinen, who's throwing across the face of Castro, but just blocked by Maria Silva on that left side. She's going to back up and left-handed throw that ball down the line, but Kaupila swings her feet over. She'll back up this time. Maybe thought about a quick shot, but decided not to. Spins around and throws a bouncing ball into the center, but deflected forward from Castro. Almost an own goal by Portugal after that timeout was called by Marcia Ferreira. She's trying to call the timeout to potentially save them from a 10-second penalty after Castro got lost on the court searching for the ball. Finally got it, and by the time she passed it back to Silva, there wasn't a lot of time left on their shot clock. So she's potentially calling this timeout so that Portugal can throw a premature throw to save them from making that 10-second penalty mistake. The ball is in the hands of Maria Silva on that left wing over at that left post. She will throw a premature throw, getting ready for that right now. The ball will go back to Lita Kaupila on that right side for Finland. She'll head on that right post where she'll throw into the center into Castro, deflected forward, so she's going to have to search for it again, passing back to that left side to Maria Silva. Silva throwing into that gap between Mikola and Kaupila, but just blocked out. Easy save by Mikola in center. Kaupila spinning around, throwing the ball across the face, deflected off of the feet of Jessica Castro in center, and just over Eduarda Esdevito. Nothing she could do to save that ball into the back of the net. And Finland will take a 2-goal lead with 7 minutes and 4 seconds left on the clock in the second half. A full cross-court shot from Eduarda Esdevito. Kaupila meets Lepinen in back center, who will go back to that left-hand side of the court, throws into center at Castro, who will pass off to Estevito. Estevito doesn't back up fully to the goalpost, throws back into center to Mikola, who's going to decide to take the ball herself. spinning around right-handed, bounces the ball a little bit, deflected out by Estevito. Estevito has Silva over on that right side, but shoos her away. She will take the ball herself and throw a ball just across the face of Jasmine Mikola in center, who will pass off to Lita Kaupila, backing up on that right side of the court, sending a smooth ball down to Maria Silva on that left wing for Portugal. Makes an easy block and will send the ball across court to Lepinen, who has to make a good dive to save that shot. Lepinen from the left side spins around left-handed, bouncing the ball almost over the feet of Castro, but saved by Estevito. She'll wind up to take the shot, almost a high ball by Estevito, but not called by the ref. Blocked out by Jasmine Mikola in the center and passed back into Kaupila on that right side. She'll send the ball bouncing down the line on that left wing. A confident block made by Maria Silva. Silva back down the line to Kaupila, who's going to back up to that right goal post and spin around, throwing a skipping shot this time. Full cross to Eduarda Estevito. She's going to back up to the goal post and throw a shot down the line to Lepinen, who's going to head over to that left post, just slightly out of bounds from the court's boundaries, and to throw a full cross at Silva, who makes that block easily and confidently, throwing that ball quickly back to Mikola, who's going to pass off to Lepinen. Lepinen, a couple steps and then a shot that slightly curves on its way down, blocked easily by Maria Silva. Minha, she says, means mine in Portuguese. Moved to the right to Alida Kaupila, moves Mikola out of center to throw, skips the ball almost down and deflected off of the feet of Castro, but collected by Estevito. Estevito on that right side will throw down the line, collected by Lepinen, who's going to quick shot. Estevito not back in her spot and not able to make that save down her line. And Finland will take a 3-goal lead with 4 minutes and 32 seconds left in this first half. Estevito from the right side this time. She's going to throw a full cross, blocked out by the feet of Kaupila on that right-hand side of the court for Finland. She's spinning around and throwing a bouncing ball into the center, blocked by Castro, who's going to take it this time herself, throwing a smooth ball down to Mikola, who is passing off to Lepinen. Lepinen for Finland, spinning around left-handed, bouncing the ball, dies a bit, but Castro just dives by the first sound of that ball right out of the way, and Silva is not in the gap deep enough to save that ball, so Lepinen will make her second goal of the game, making this 4-0 with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left to go in this first half. First throw after that goal taken by Silva in that gap between Kaupila and Mikola. Kaupila's going to take it. Throws into the center this time at Castro, who stays put. Passes off to Silva, who's going to throw a slightly skipping shot right off of the feet of Jasmine Mikola. Deflects right into that left post past Lepinen. Nothing she could have done about that shot. And Portugal gets their first goal of this game with 3 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock. Finland will call a timeout to try to regroup after that goal. Silva with her first goal of the tournament. A full cross off the feet of Mikola. Surely Marcia Ferreira will be thrilled with that decision to start Maria Silva this first half of the game. Strong defense so far by Silva, and a goal additional to that makes an exciting start for underdogs Portugal in this game against the tournament favorites Finland, who are also the champions of the last edition of the European Bees that they hosted in Pahulahti, Finland. The ball will be in back center to start off with Lepinen. She's moving over to that left-hand post. Gonna take this ball right-handed this time. Down the line to Estevito, but blocked by her chest. Confident block by Estevito. Winding up, throwing a smooth shot right down the gap in between Mikola and Lepinen. Mikola decides not to make that block at all, maybe fearing for another deflection into that post, and the ball goes straight through that gap, untouched, and Portugal gets their second goal of the game, this time by Eduardo Estevito. A new center will be put in with Lita Kaupila switching with Jasmine Mikola. So Jasmine Mikola will be on that right side. Lepinen still on the left wing, and Kaupila in center. Trying to bring some defensive stability back. Lepinen spins around right-handed, throws down the line on Eduarda Estevito, but blocked out, deflected from her body sideways. Estevito throwing a smooth ball into the center. Kaupila will take it this time. Spinning around, throwing a skipping shot into Estevito, deflected forward, chased, and now both players are searching for the ball, Castro and Estevito. She'll decide to throw the ball out with a fear of maybe getting a 10-second penalty during this time. And the ball will be returned to Finland with Lepinen on the left side. Lepinen, a smooth ball in between Castro and Estevito. A lot of aggression on that shot, which means that the ball just deflected forward and the players were not able to recapture it. It will be a ball over for Portugal. Finland will receive the ball back with Mikola on the right side, throwing a full cross, but there's too much angle on that shot. No chance to score, and not forcing a block for Estevito. Silva is over on the side of Estevita. She's going to take the ball this time left-handed into the gap between Kaupila and Lepinen, but safely blocked. Lepinen left-handed this time, bouncing the ball, but saved by Castro, who doesn't move out of the way this time. Ball died a little bit on its way down, but it's not an issue. Silva right down to Mikola, who's playing that right wing for Finland. She's going to take the ball and throw into the center at Castro, just deflected off the body. Castro searching for the ball and giving that back to Maria Silva on the left. Silva bouncing the ball down into center, saved by Kaupila. She's going to take the ball herself this time. Spinning around, throwing a skipping shot down to the feet of Castro in that gap between her and Estevito. She passes back to Estevito, who's going to have to throw quickly to take the shot. Throws down the line to Lepinen, who thought about doing a quick shot but decided not to at the last minute. Throwing the ball quickly down, deflected forward by Estevito, and then passed to Silva from Castro. Silva from that left-hand side into center at Kaupila. Passed off to Mikola on the right side for Finland. She's going to take that ball, smooth shot down in between the players of Silva and Castro in that left gap, but then decided to be passed to Eduarda Estevito on that right side. She's going to throw a full cross on Mikola, who's going to back up to that right post to throw the ball into the center. Castro dives out of the way, but saved by Estevito. She's going to take that ball in that right post and throw the ball in between Lepinen and Kaupila in that left gap. Mikola over for a help save in case anything was loose. Lepinen down, hitting the gap between Estevito and Castro, but the feet of Castro strong enough to block that ball out. Ball returned to Portugal with 31 seconds left in this first half. Quick shotted by Kaupila, but blocked, deflected forward and out by Castro. These teams have a maximum of 2 throws each. Portugal looking to get that third point here in this game. 4-2 for Finland right now. Ball's in the hands of Lepinen, who sweeps over to that right side from the left, gets through the hands of Maria Silva, hits the post but deflects out. 10 seconds left on this clock in the second half. Silva backing up, taking her time. left-handed, throws the ball into center, saved safely by Kaupila, passed off to Mikola. 1 second left, and she will not get that shot off before the end of the first half. Finland will be thrilled with this half with a 2-goal lead against host country Portugal. Portugal thrilled with this first half against the favorites for this tournament, Finland. Portugal not being in this European B tournament since last 2016, where they made their last appearance and have not competed in this tournament since. A young team brought in with young team captain, 19 years old, of Leonor Silva, who may make her way onto the court for the second half. Looks like they'll be taking out Eduarda Estevido in the second half, potentially. Marcia Ferreira giving the team instructions for this half. But let's see at the halftime if they actually do keep out Estevida and bring in Silva. Leticia Gomez has not made an appearance on the court yet in this tournament at all, so potentially Marcia Ferreira will play her in this game, hoping to get her a little bit of court time. But if not in this game, then we may see her at another point this weekend. Silva on the court, staying there. She'll be making an appearance with her mom, Maria Silva. Again, I was talking about this earlier today, that it's somewhat special to be on the court with somebody in your family to share the experience of being on a national team. Maybe something she can look back on later on in her life as one of the proud moments, to share that experience with her mom competing for their home country, Portugal, in a tournament that they are hosting, not only the European Bs, but 3 weeks from now, the World Championships at this very same venue in Montesinho, Portugal, with some of the best 16 men's and women's teams in the world from all regions. Looks like Finland will be making a substitution at the half as well. They'll be bringing in Mina Grunrus for Jasmine Mikola. She'll be either taking up that left wing position or in center. Joined with Leppinen and Kaupila. They've had almost all of their eye shades checked and then will be underway. They should be starting this half with the ball. And then we'll get to see exactly what both of these teams have under their sleeves for this first half. If you guys have not been keeping up with this tournament so far, Finland has lost to Ukraine, Ukraine has lost to Greece, and Greece has lost to Finland. We have a 3-way tie for first place, so Finland will be searching for points this game to try to bring their point differential higher so that they can play Hungary in the semifinals. That means that they will have to separate themselves from Portugal this game, getting more goals to put themselves in that opportunity position to play Hungary. We're just hearing the substitutions from the referees right now. I've already told it to you guys, so we're not going to repeat it. Ensku in the chat for cheering for Finland. Krista Leppinen will start with the ball for Finland for this first half. She'll be going to the right side of the court to throw. We will see Grunrus playing that left wing, and that first ball is blocked out by Maria Silva on that left side. She'll be having strong hands to start. Silva, Leonor Silva, over to that left side, takes the ball, goes back to her spot on that right side, and throws a smooth ball down the line on Grunrus, a reverse cut actually, but saved by the left-handed player, who's going to throw into that gap between Castro and Silva. Silva this time throwing a spin on that right-hand side, again trying to go for the line of Grunrus, but saved. She'll back up to the goal left-handed and throw again into that gap between Castro and Silva. Castro passing to Maria Silva this time. Left-handed player throwing cross court. Just missed by Kaupila, but saved by Grunrus, who was thinking about giving the ball to Lepinen. Lepinen from the right side throws down the line, but just out before it hit Maria Silva on that left side. She'll have a full 10-second clock to be able to throw and set up this shot. Silva, left-handed, bounces the ball, but just angled out before it hit Grunrus. So Grunrus will have another opportunity to set up a new shot. Two left-handed players on the court at this time with Grunrus and Silva. I talked about it in a previous game, but left-handed players seem to have a different sound to their ball, so they actually have a scoring advantage. It's not that it's better, but there's so few left-handed players in goalball that when you do hear a left-handed throw, it's quite different. Kaupila taking the shot, skipping past the feet of Castro. Silva fails to make a block on that right side with her hands, and the ball goes through. Finland will take a 5-2 lead over host country Portugal. This play will start again with Silva spinning around, throwing into the gap. Grunrus almost got scored on by a skipping shot from Leonor Silva. Lepinen was over to help make a help save, but the ball just deflected out at the last second right near the post. Grunrus passes over to Lepinen on that right side, tries to make a dummy play, but nobody has reacted. Silva saved that ball, crossed the face of Castro in center, gonna spin around again, but almost concedes a high ball, not called by the referee. Kaupila now playing, nope, that would be still Grunrus playing that left-hand side. Threw a full cross on Maria Silva on the left wing for Portugal. She's going to throw left-handed herself down, but blocked by Kaupila. Handed off to Lepinen on that right-hand side. Lepinen is going to throw a smooth ball aggressively down mid-wing line on Silva on that left side. Silva throwing a skipping ball into the center, safely saved by Kaupila. She will take it herself, moving out Grunrus on that left-hand side. She'll throw a skipping ball into the right gap between Silva and Castro, saved by Castro, but thrown out by Silva before that half-court line. Ball thrown by Grunrus down the line on Silva. She collects the ball with an interesting blocking form, will spin around, throw in that gap between Kaupila and Grunrus. Grunrus will now take the ball left-handed on that left side, throws down into that center region. Silva not over far enough, and Castro didn't move for that shot. Grunrus scores her first goal, the sub for the second half, with 9 minutes left in this second half. The score is now 6-2 for Finland. Kaupila safely blocks that ball from Castro. Given to Lepinen, throws a short cross across the face of Castro, but saved by Silva. Silva in that gap between Grunrus and Kaupila. She'll pass off to Grunrus, who will look for her second goal of this game. In that gap between Castro and Silva, but saved by the legs of Jessica Castro. Castro off to Maria Silva this time on that left wing. Throws into the gap between Kaupila and Lepinen, but it's not enough to score on Lepinen or Kaupila. Lepinen throws a curving shot going from back center, sweeping all the way to the right side and throwing a full cross. Silva left her corner open, and let's Lepinen score on her. Lepinen with another goal will bring Finland to a 7-2 lead in this game. Portugal subbing out Leonor Silva for Eduarda Estevido. There's 8 minutes and 13 seconds left on the clock in the second half. Score is 7-2. as DeVito will join Team Portugal on the right wing. Ball down the line by Maria Silva as we come back into play. Leppänen will almost pass into the goal, and Finland will pass the ball out after some confusing communication on their side. Leppänen thought she was passing to either Grunroos or Kaupila, but nobody was there. Kaupila saved that ball, passed back to Leppänen, who then passed the ball out. As Davida comes to get the ball on that left side for Portugal, she'll go ahead and throw that ball into the center on Kaupila. She'll back up and take the ball herself, and Finland calls a timeout, trying to maybe fix that communication error that they just had on their side with 7 minutes and 52 seconds left in this second half. But they're leading this game 5 goals. Their goal for this game probably to end this game early with a 10-point differential against Portugal to try to secure the first place spot with that 3-way tie between the Ukraine, Greece, and Finland. They'll be searching for that 1-versus-4 semifinal against the Hungarian team. We are not yet all secure in the spots for the semifinal, but it is sure that Hungary, Finland, Greece, and Ukraine will all make the semifinals, all having at least 3 wins in this tournament. Grunroos, first ball, but released out left-handed on that left side, will be blocked by Estevita, who's going to take this first shot, throwing across court, just saved by Leppänen. Leppänen down in that left gap for Portugal between Silva and Castro, saved confidently. Now this ball down the line into the gap between Kaupila and Leppänen. Kaupila will take it this time out of center. She's going to bounce the ball down towards Silva, who makes a confident block on that left-hand side. Her defense this game has been solid. She'll throw cross court, saved by Grunroos, who's going to back up to that goal and try to hit that line shot of Estevito, but she's there. She'll pop up quickly to try to throw that quick shot, but Grunroos is there also. A little bit slower going back to the goalpost this time, setting up that shot into center, blocked by Castro. Passed off to Maria Silva on that left-hand side. She'll be throwing left-handed down into center, blocked by Kaupila, who's going to take that ball, send Grunroos off the court, and throw from the left-hand side into center, into Castro, but she makes that block confidently over and passes to Estevito. Estevito throwing cross-court on Leppänen, but saved. Leppänen running to the right and throwing down the line on Silva, blocked with the hips of Silva. Silva will just throw that ball down the line, but it floats out. A little bounce to that ball. Cross-court ball by Leppänen, just blocked by Eduarda Estevito. She throws out down that line, trying to hit Grunroos' line. A great ball, just blocked out by Estevito. Estevito on the right side of Portugal throws down mid-wing line to Grunroos, who's going to send the ball back left-handed into that gap between Castro and Estevito. Castro passes back to Silva a little bit too aggressively, almost passes back into their own net, but just saved. Ball thrown off, and Kaupila makes that ball block this time. We'll head back into center to throw this skipping shot, blocked by Castro in center. She's going to block the ball over the half-court line, which means that the ball will be returned to Finland. Grunroos throwing a reverse cut from the gap down to Eduardo Estevita's line. She's going to take this ball and just throw across. Leppinen blocks it at the last second. She'll go back to that right post, throw a smooth ball down the line at Silva, but just saved by Silva, just safely saved. Silva down the line of Leppinen, just blocked by her feet. She'll get up and head to that right post. She'll throw that ball into that gap between Castro and Silva, but it will go out in the neutral area, which means it's a turnover. It will return back to Leppinen from Finland, but Grunroos is waiting in back center, potentially waiting to get the handoff for the shot. Grunroos headed back to that left side to throw. She'll be throwing left-handed into that center region where Castro makes a safe block and passes off to Estevito. Estevito throws a smooth ball down and blocked by Calpilla, who's going to take the ball herself this time from center. She's going to spin around and throw a skipping shot down the center to Castro, deflected forward and passed back to Maria Silva. Silva on that left-hand side. She'll be throwing left-handed into the gap between Leppinen and Kaupila on that right side for Finland. She chases after the ball and just passes it out, not looking to get a 10-second penalty if Leppinen wasn't up for returning the ball in that 10-second time period. The ball will be returned to Maria Silva on that left-hand side for Portugal. She'll be taking this throw from the left post, looking to throw a short cross across the face, but blocked by Grunroos. Grunroos down the line of Estevito, hits the post and just out, saved by the post. She didn't get all the way to that line over there. Estevito throws this ball cross court, just out. Too much angle on the ball. And that means Leppinen will get this ball on her side. 7-2 still for Finland with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in this second half. Five-point differential between these two teams. Finland looking to increase their lead. Estevito looking to increase Portugal's deficit, or decrease Portugal's deficit. But Kaupila will be taking that ball, bouncing it down, almost deflected from Estevito, but deflected forward, which means that she was able to recover that ball. Throws into the center on Kaupila, who passes off to Leppinen on that right side. We have a plane flying overhead right now, so there will be a slight pause in play due to just the noise, so that all of the players have the same advantage as the rest. Kaupila still in center. Grunroos off the court for Finland, and Leppinen in back center. Leppinen will be finding that center tee, trying to run to the right, and again probably throw to the left to confuse Eduardo Estevito, but this time blocked. Estevito taking the ball from that right side, throwing into Grunroos, who makes a safe block. She'll stand up and make a couple of steps, spins around left-handed, but just releases that ball out. That's the first time this tournament we've seen her spin. Silva over on that right side to take the ball off of Estevito. She throws into Grunroos around the end of the wing line, but Grunroos deflects that ball out with her chest. Maria Silva on that left side with the ball right now. Throws the ball, almost a high ball, into center for Finland. Kaupila makes that block and hands that ball off to Leppinen, who's playing that right wing. Throws a smooth ball down the line at Silva, who says nada, nothing's going to be scoring over there. With that defense she's had all game, it's been a solid wall. She's going to throw back into center, blocked by Kaupila. And she's going to go to that left side, try to throw the ball down the line on Estevito, who just wasn't there. She just didn't get down right away for that ball, and Finland will increase their lead 8-2 against host country Portugal. Astevito throws into that gap between Grunrus and Kaupila. Grunrus throws into the center at Jessica Castro. Passed off after the block by Kaupila to Lepinen. Another almost goal by Lepinen. Eduarda Estevito almost dove too far in on that block. That full cross shot from Lepinen. Estevita full cross now on Lepinen. She's going to go back to that right post for Finland and try to hit the ball down the line to Silva. Again, another confident block. Nada from Silva. Blocked by Kaupila, who's looking to take the ball herself, sending Grunrus out. She's going over to that left side of the court, searching for another goal. Skipping shot this time deflected off of the feet of Castro, but this time it went sideways instead of backwards. Estevito this time from the right side of the court. She'll be throwing in that gap between Grunrus and Kaupila. Grunrus this time from their left side. She's going to throw into that gap between Estevita and Castro. Castro didn't move over for that shot, so Estevito had to be there. Luckily she was. Estevito moving to throw that ball into the center for Finland. Kaupila makes that block, and Finland will now take a timeout. They are leading 8-2 in this second half with only 38 seconds to go. They'll be looking to get as many points as they can before this game ends to try to increase their point differential. I've already said that in this game, but for the newcomers, there is a three-way tie between Greece, Finland, and Ukraine for that first place spot. Ukraine beat Finland. Finland beat Greece, and Greece just beat Ukraine in the game slightly before lunch. If you're looking for a real nail-biter game, go back and watch Ukraine versus Greece. Great game. Just 1 point differential between both of those teams. Stalemate for a while, and then Greece pulled the game back at the last minute. We're back in play with Kaupila, who takes that ball, throws down the line on Estevito, but this time she's there. She'll be going to try to throw this shot in the gap between Grunrus and Kaupila. Just deflected off of the hands of Kaupila, but into Grunrus. There's 26 seconds left for the second half. Finland still searching for points to extend their lead in this game. They'll need 4 points to finish this game early, which will not be possible with only 26 seconds left. They have a potential of throwing maybe 3 shots left in this game, but more than likely they'll have about 1 or 2. The ball will be again on this left side, but it's not going to be with Kaupila this time. It's going to be with Lepinen, sending Grunrus out from that left wing. Lepinen is going to search for that goal in between Castro and Estevito, and she ends up getting another goal in this game, extending Finland's lead with a cut gap. She has brought Finland another point towards their goal, towards that first place spot. 21 seconds left in this second half. Silva throwing down the line at Lepinen. Finland calls a substitution to set up another shot. They will be taking out Grunrus and bringing in number 1, which is Mila Leipalainen. She will be joining Kaupila and Lepinen out on that court. Lepinen trying to set up maybe another shot, potentially the same goal that she just scored with her last shot. 14 seconds left on the clock, 14 seconds and 21, or 14.21 seconds left in this second half. A potential of Finland throwing maybe one more shot after this. Lepinen trying to throw that shot, but concedes a high ball. That means that she'll have to block the entire court by herself. For those of you who don't know GoalBall, you need to have the ball touch the ground at least once before that 6-meter line, or a player will be forced to block the entire 9-meter net behind them all by themselves. The ball will be taken by Silva, thrown into center, and just blocked by Lepinen. Finland will make a substitution and take out number 1, Mila Lepinen, and bring in Mina Grunroos. Last shot for Finland in the hands of Lida Kaupila. She's standing in that gap between the left and center at this moment, but we'll see what she has in store after this shot. The last possession for Finland with only 8 seconds left on this clock. Last shot made by Grunroos, thrown into the center, blocked by Castro, and they will hold the ball. Not enough time to get the shot off. Finland wins this game 9-2 against host country Portugal, secures another win under their belt, and 8 more points added to their point differential to help them secure that first place spot for the semifinals. We'll see at the end of tomorrow who exactly will play who, but an exciting outcome for this tournament so far. Finland walking away proud from this game, and Portugal surely too in their first tournament since 2016. I hope you enjoyed this game here with me. Finland versus Portugal, and we'll have our next game coming up shortly. The game will be, let's check who this next game will be. Italy versus Ukraine at 14:50, 2:50 local Portuguese time in just 30 minutes or so. So just join me during that time. And if you have to go, then hope you have a good day. Thanks for joining me, and we will see each other soon. Thanks for tuning in.